The last video in the playlist looked at an example of a late requirement, a creeping requirement, something that we discovered late in the development process for the production of the software system. If a late requirement is found, why not update the code? Why bother revising documentation across the whole lifecycle as we looked at in the previous video? Isn't getting the software working enough? Why should we bother going back to the analysis, the design, and the coding, and the testing, and doing it all again for this discovered requirement? So, to recap, you found a late stage requirement. The instinct, just fix the code and move on. But here's the problem: skipping the software lifecycle doesn't just save time, it creates chaos. In other words, you may think, well, I'll just get the code working. That'll be pretty quick. Let's just throw together the code, release it back to the customer. There should be no problem. But it will create chaos. Now let's have a look at how this chaos manifests itself when you're building software systems for customers. If the requirement isn't documented in the analysis documentation, future teams won't know why the change was made or even that it exists. Now, you will note I say future teams there. Why would I stress that? Well, you will have analysts working for your company. They could move on, in which case the personnel within the teams change over time. And if there was a need to go back to look at the analysis document, if the analysis document wasn't matching the rest of the software lifecycle, problems will entail. So it is always important when you think about what could happen to realize there's a dynamic in the personnel that are writing the software systems. They could retire, they could get a different job, and so on. So documentation does matter because of these issues taking place. You have to make sure that the documentation is consistent across the entire life cycle to help ultimately to maintain the system going forward. Now, once the analysis documentation is updated with the new requirement, the creeping requirement, we need to consider what we will do next during the design phase of the life cycle. Without updating design documentation, quick fixes can break architecture, introduce technical debt, or conflict with other features. In other words, if we don't bother doing the analysis, followed by the design, and just let the coders put in a patch, that patch could be, well, if we were dealing with the object-oriented approach to development, somebody might patch it using a functional way of writing code that doesn't tie in with any of the classes that appear within the architecture design. And this can be very difficult when you then want to go back and fix the patch. You have to ensure that whatever they code comes from a proper software engineering approach to changing the software. So the better software engineering approach is to identify the new requirement, alter the analysis documentation. That documentation is given to the designers, who then change the architecture of the design. Their documentation is then given to the coders, and the coders look at the change to the design and implement it appropriately. In other words, they don't just write a few lines of code because they know how to get it to work. If that new piece of code doesn't match the architecture, then you're not being consistent with the documentation across the software lifecycle. Just revisiting the implementation phase to get the code to work with the patch is okay for now. But without proper traceability, it's fragile, hard to maintain, and harder to scale. During the testing phase, quality assurance teams rely on documented requirements. If those aren't updated, the new feature might go untested or tested incorrectly. In other words, when you pass the code on to the quality assurance team, they will have access to the analysis documentation and will note the new creeping requirement that's been introduced and work out what they need to do to test what the programmers have produced during the implementation phase. So, not documenting it correctly will mean that the testers will not know what the new requirement is, put simply. So, it is important to maintain the documentation across the entire life cycle because so many people within the team rely on this documentation being updated. It's worth considering the maintenance phase. Months later, during the maintenance phase, someone will ask, why does this feature behave in this way? And without documentation, no one will have the answer. So, not having updated documentation can be as equally difficult for the maintainers of the software going forward. They need the documentation to be consistent to help them during the maintenance phase. Skipping the life cycle might seem faster. For example, editing a live website without updating the source files. A developer, for example, might log into the production server and manually change the HTML, the CSS, or the scripts. It works instantly, but the source code in version control stays outdated. It works for now, but the next update breaks things, and no one knows why. From code to chaos, the ripple effect is real. In software development, every phase matters. Fix the code, but honor the process. Programmers like coding, and they're usually very keen to fix bugs, and they will often do so without paying attention to documentation. And the code they write could be idiosyncratic in nature. And a good programmer will produce code that works, but they often don't like the notion of going back and changing everything associated with the software lifecycle. Now, this is an issue in the development of software because coders like to code, but you have to ensure that they stay within the strict rules of software engineering, getting them to ensure that they look at the design documents, not just fix it quickly because they know they can. Because the issue is that the maintenance phase, that's when the software is being used, will last for years, whereas the development of software might only take 12 months, for example. And you will want to help the maintainers maintain the code, and their life is made much easier by good documentation. Not having to look at some idiosyncratic code and say, what does this do? Where does this come from? And then go and find the programmer who did it, only to find that they have left for a different job. It is a problem in the development of software. So those of you who want to get involved in software engineering, bear in mind, being a good coder is important, but adapting your coding skills to a regime of software development is equally as important. It is worth noting that the development phase, such as the 1 year I've suggested earlier, will be a lot shorter than the maintenance phase, which could last 5 years, even longer. So the documentation is to support the entire software lifecycle, but it is particularly important for the maintenance phase, which, as I've already said, can be a lot longer than the actual development of the working system. The bottom line: changing the code might get it working, but without updating the lifecycle artifacts, we're flying blind.